In the 14th century, what struggles did the average person in Europe face? By Elise Ahern, Elise LaDoce, and Megan Ratajki.
The Black Death was a plague that spread through Europe during the 1340s and 1350s, killing millions of people, 30 to 60% of the continent's population.
The Black Death started at the shipping ports closest to Asia, letting the cause of the disease out. Major cities were more heavily affected while the smaller, less populated ones were not, because they were more spread out. The arrows indicate which way the plague traveled.
The flea was the cause to this contagious disease. They lived on rats and affected people through them. The Black Death was a huge struggle for an average person because families were worried if they will be the next one to be infected. They traveled to different cities thinking they escaped the plague, but the people truly spread the disease.
This picture was painted during the Black Death to show how people expressed themselves. It also showed the destruction that the plague brought. Families got torn apart and houses got burned in hopes of destroying the disease with it.
If you were infected by the plague, you would experience this symptom. This can be found on your leg. It is most commonly found in your armpit and groin.
The rat's fleas affect the body and cause death. If you catch this disease, there is no cure, which led to death.
After the plague progressed, the people started to mentally drift off. As an effect, they created the Dance of the Dead. This was an art they used to glorify, per se, the plague and all that it has done.
The Christians were blaming the Jews because they thought the Jews were associated with the plague, and if they killed them, it would end. The Christians were losing faith because their priests were dying, and they started to believe God was against them. The Great Schism was a period of division in the Roman Catholic Church over papal succession.
During the Great Schism, England and the Holy Roman Empire followed the Roman beliefs, and France, Scotland, Portugal, and Spain followed the Aragon beliefs. Italians were on both sides.
The Great Schism took a dramatic toll on the people's faith. There was a collective decline in confidence in the Church. In turn, the Catholic Church needed to help restore confidence in the people so they will have stronger faith once again.
During the Great Schism, the committees either chose to side with Rome or Avignon, splitting the Catholic Church in two. Both the Rome and Avignon popes resigned based on the conflict. Martin V gets elected to be the pope, and the people start to follow their religion.
During the Great Schism, the average person was affected in many ways. One of these ways include choosing the side they want to follow. They had to choose between the competing popes. Most of the decisions were based on political differences. But when Martin V was elected, they came together as a community. Marriage in the 14th century. Couples faced struggles on a daily basis due to choices made by authority.
Marriage in the 14th century was extremely economically based. In some cases, parents would choose their children's spouse based on how much wealth they had. Those getting married did not always love the other person, nonetheless know them.
People believed prostitution to be good for society, however, it was not respected. Prostitution moved from private to social and also required public supervision.
In the 14th century, divorce did not exist. The church believed that once a couple married, only death can separate the two.
Many people would have premarital sex to ensure that they could have children. As an effect, there was a lot of pre-marriage pregnancy. Making sure that the couple was able to produce children was vitally important because the children had to work in the field in order to make money for the family.
Overall, the average person in the 14th century had many complications in their life.